So, I've been gone for like 6 months. Oops. Well, now that I finally have free time, I thought I would do a speed paint of one of my favorite creators while I talk about him. To the 2 people watching this, thank you. I hope you enjoy it. 𝘢𝘨𝘰𝘳𝘰𝘅𝘀 has been around since 2015, where he began to tell horror stories and creepypasta, and my middle school self ate that shit up, that's for sure. But he was not nearly as popular then as he is now. Literally, in the month of October alone, he gained 2.4 million subscribers. This kind of growth does not happen every day. Though he had built a dedicated following from his storytelling, he suddenly had a new wave of viewers come in through his Among Us content. I can imagine how stressful this might have been for him. Having such a huge influx of viewers come from content you don't normally make can be hard on any creator. Due to this, his usual million view average soon showed numbers past 10 million just on his Among Us content alone. I've mentioned all this growth, but what is the cause of all this? I believe that the main reason why he has such a large fan base now is the resurgence of the mafia-like game Among Us. He was one of the first creators to jump on that bandwagon, and it sure did pay off. 𝘢𝘨 started to play Among Us with PewDiePie on his channel, and has had constant growth ever since. He even credited PewDiePie specifically as the cause for his growth.
Before I start the video, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to Felix, aka PewDiePie. The recent growth on my channel, and in general and everything else, was initially caused by him being kind and welcoming enough to allow me on his channel, which I'm incredibly grateful for. He's done things to
I hadn't even thought of 𝘢𝘨𝘰𝘅𝘀 husband since I last watched his story videos in 2015, and seeing him trending on Twitter like every week was definitely interesting for me to see. I also think that it was due to the help of TikTok. Despite my conflicting feelings towards the app, his song "E-Girls Are Ruining My Life" was a huge hit and got millions of views. He's been making music for about 8 months now, so this wasn't really anything new, but that song slaps so fucking hard. I'm not really a sexual person, but goddamn, I would bust my ass down to 𝘢𝘨 rapping about how he wants to fuck someone with daddy issues. Dumb analytics aside, I sympathize for 𝘢𝘨 because this sudden newfound fame is basically a double-edged sword. On one side, you get a bunch of exposure and support for your content, but you also have to keep up with their wants. And a lot of the new fans might not like his storytelling content, limiting the amount of views he gets on those videos. Then again, I'm not him, so I don't know how he manages, but I do understand that this can be hard, especially for someone who has struggled with anxiety in the past. In a video back in 2017, he mentioned that he had a hard time finding the right stories, and despite being killed by the YouTube algorithm, he wanted quality over quantity. I imagine the same mentality applies to today, and with a larger audience instead of a niche group of story lovers, making content that would please everyone will be increasingly hard. His quick rise to fame is not really new either. We see a lot with TikTok stars like Charli D'Amelio, Bunny of the Week, and many others. I can't think of right now, I don't know, I don't use TikTok often. And with that sudden influx of followers comes an influx of hate. The downside of having a shit ton of sudden popularity is all the unwanted hate. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter accuse him of having a fake voice, even though his voice has been the same since 2015, and I really don't think he has this master plan to trick everyone and secretly have a high voice. He has also stated that he literally has a medical condition that causes his voice to sound like that. Oh, and sometimes the edgy, leafy wannabe commentators are like, "Ooh, going undercover and pretending to be a 𝘢𝘁 husband fan, the troll," or "figure out what the hype is all about," and literally all you're gonna find is a bunch of chill fans, or touch-starved teenagers, which there is nothing wrong with. Like, if you are so worried about what a 14-year-old girl has to say on the internet, I think you have other priorities you need to worry about. Yes, there's a very small minority of fans who are kind of creepy and obsessive, but that can be applied to basically every fandom. So what's so special about this one? It's stupid that I have to say this so often, but having one bad experience with a fan does not mean all of them are like that. And it certainly doesn't mean the person/group of people they stan is automatically trash. I think too often people on the internet heavily associate artists and creators with their fans, even though they are separate entities. They shouldn't be held accountable for making sure every single one of their fans are respecting people on the internet. But it all depends what kind of message and content you are making. This is a super broad issue I'm just glancing over for now, so let's get back to 𝘨𝘀𝘀. Probably what gets most people is that he's just too edgy, or he has a deep voice, I don't get it. Which is a fair argument to the small minority of those who only care about that, but as a fan myself and someone who is addicted to Twitter, the real reason why he is so popular is that he's just genuinely a nice person, and people enjoy watching him play Among Us and voice scary stories. Also, a lot of the time when 𝘨𝘀𝘀 receives criticism, it comes with, oh, I bet he's ugly as fuck, and I can't wait for his face to be ugly so people can get over him. And I really hate that people think that looks are all he's good for. It's super dehumanizing and doesn't treat him like a genuine content creator or person. I mean, regardless of what he looks like, good people are still going to watch his videos and support him because they like him for who he is and what he creates, not a fantasized version of him in their head. Before you go commenting, some fans do. Yes, some fans do, but it doesn't automatically make all of his fans snakes. Besides, looks are extremely subjective. I think my looks are equivalent to a god, but some may think I'm merely a megamind imposter. It really depends. I get that 𝘨𝘀𝘀's husband is not for everyone, but we have to come to an understanding that he is just simply a popular creator on the internet. But honestly, he is just one of the sweetest content creators out there, and everyone who has interacted with him has had nothing but great experiences. No one is forcing you to like his content, but shitting on him as a person is just completely unnecessary and not worth your time. He is a great person, regardless of what he makes, and cares about what he does for his fans. And that is enough to gain my deepest respect. I know that the majority of his fans are genuinely normal people, and a lot are super talented and make fantastic art of him, but once in a while I come across a whole ass fan edit of just his hands. And it's literally like the same two pictures because he only posted those two, but I'm not judging someone for liking something they enjoy. I just find it kind of funny. Like, who cares if he's pretty edgy? If his content makes someone super happy, then there's no need to shit on them for liking it. As long as it's not weirdly obsessive behavior that makes the creator uncomfortable, then there's no problem with it. The majority of his fan base don't care what he looks like because they like him for who he is, as a person, and not a fantasized man of their dreams. The overwhelming majority are people who just genuinely like his work. He doesn't even care that people simp over his voice, and people simp over other voices all the time. What people don't realize is that even if 𝘨𝘀𝘀 does do a face reveal, his fans literally won't care what he looks like. He's built a humble foundation off of being a great kindred soul and someone who cares about the people who watch him. If anything, there will probably be a whole ass hashtag on Twitter and will be trending with people doing selfies or just overall supporting him. Even if people do stop watching him because of his looks, then they weren't really real fans anyways, just in love with the fictional idea of him. Overall, 𝘨𝘀𝘀 fans only really want him to reveal his face only if he's comfortable with it. They're not crazy over some guy who has a deep voice. They're crazy over how entertaining he is, how good he is at Among Us, his amazing narration, and how well he treats others around him. But let's dive a little bit deeper. What often gets misconstrued is that he is only famous for his voice, which is partly true, but it's because he literally narrated stories for a living, so his voice is kind of important in terms of listening. I used to watch his videos a lot when the majority of his content was true scary stories because he just had a nice narrating voice and it was like listening to an audiobook. Sure, some people on the internet may thirst over his voice, but there is more to him than that. He makes fucking great music. I might be a bit biased because I like heavy sounds in music since I'm a fan of metal, heavy rock, and pirate metal music. And his type of music just fucking slaps. It's also a good thirst song for e-girls, e-boys, and e-thems on TikTok. There's just one line from Cat Girls Are Ruining My Life that I think about a lot, which is,
She said, kill a cat like I'm Luca Magnotta.
which was that famous cat killer on the internet that faked being a model, and I was like, that was so clever! It's the type of song I like to blast in my car and scare my sister on the way to getting froyo. I've mentioned the reasons why people like him so much earlier in the video, so I just wanted to wrap up why he is as popular as he is. I think less lies in the type of content he does, but rather in what that content does for other people. I think the greatest thing he does is make people love themselves and shown how many people have gotten a sense of community from being a part of his fandom. His content is not for everyone, but his positive influence is not something to be tossed aside. He likes people's fan art and is super interactive with fans, is honest with them, and just wants to do people justice. His determination to do good has earned him a dedicated fan base that shows nothing but love towards him, and that is what matters. Just because you don't get why he's so famous doesn't mean he's just some loser with a deep voice. He's the reason why people are happy as they are, and just knowing that one person lives another day because of him is all I need to understand why he is so special. There's not really much I want to say that I haven't said already, other than, yes, I am a proud simp of 𝘁𝑚𝑒, but not because of his voice, but because of what he does for people. 𝘁𝑚𝑒 may have a potato for internet, but even if he is not present for days on end, his influence will continue to impact those who watch his content and fall in love every single day. 𝘁𝑚𝑒's husband is an internet phenomenon who I will continue to support on his journey, no matter what he chooses to do. Thank you, 𝘁𝑚𝑒, for helping me get through middle school and inspiring me to write scary stories like the ones you read. May your future be filled with endless happiness.
Okay. And guess what? No one opens the door!